Mark, you're in Qatar. You've been in Saudi Arabia. In Saudi, I'm sure I saw a picture of a mobile McDonald's.
Yeah, that's true. There was a mobile McDonald's. I have to tell you, there's a bit of fake news because the reporting was that it was there specifically for Mr. Trump to make him
All
feel
right.
happy. Not true. It was in the media center, which was quite a few miles from anywhere near where Donald Trump was. So
Hmm.
fake news there. But it is, I can confirm, to my surprise and probably many other people's, Saudi Arabia has mobile McDonald's.
I have many questions. Principally, would it fit in my driveway?
I'm Mark Stone.
And I'm James Matthews. It's Thursday, the 15th of May, day 115 of Trump's term in office, and yet more travel to boldly go where no president has gone before, politically, that is.
And here in the Middle East, has the shine of Trump's golden deals been tarnished by a Putin snub at the 11th hour?
Mark, not long before we sat down to record, we got developing news on that potential meeting between Russia's President Vladimir Putin and Ukraine's President Zelensky. Remember, it was Putin who initially called for the meeting, but the Kremlin has since declined to say if he would attend at all. It looks like they are telling us now. Putin signed an order on Wednesday evening detailing who would be in the Russian delegation to Istanbul. His name is not on it.
Yes, President Zelensky said that he would only attend if Putin was also there, and Trump's team say the US president now won't be there either. Of course, he was expected to go only if Putin and Zelensky turned up. He wouldn't want to miss taking the credit for that moment. But as things stand, the Trump team are telling us that his schedule has him going to the United Arab Emirates tomorrow. He is not going to Turkey. So it looks like it's all off. And that's clearly, James, a blow for Trump.
The meeting still will take place in Turkey on Thursday. Russia, for what it's worth, they're saying their delegation will be led by the presidential aide Vladimir Medinsky, which clearly is a downgrading in the guest list and in expectations of what this meeting could achieve. I mean, Donald Trump has been fluttering his eyelashes at Vladimir Putin, saying he could make the meeting if Vladimir was going to be there. It has the look of a jilted lover about it, and it's not good.
Yeah, the question for me now, James, is how will Trump react to all of this? It is a clear snub by Putin. It makes Trump look pretty weak. It also clearly demonstrates that Vladimir Putin has absolutely no interest in a ceasefire right now. He's played Trump, as many told him he was. And all eyes now, I guess, will be on Donald Trump's social media feed to see how he responds.
Now, from the Ukrainian conflict to where you are, Mark, the Middle East, Riyadh and Doha today. Donald Trump is on the second leg of this Middle East tour in Qatar. And, in many ways, it's been same shift, different day. The spectacle of it all for the man who's all about the art of the deal. It's deal making as an art. Yeah. I mean, you were there. Tell us about it.
Yes, Donald Trump was welcomed to Qatar with open arms by the emir. He got off Air Force One into the arms of the man who's now promising to give him a new plane. There was a jet escort, as we had in Saudi Arabia. There were sword dances, there were
Yeah.
camels and Arabian horses, the lot.
And a couple of Teslas, am I right? But not quite as we know them.
Yeah, this actually did look very cool. Have you ever been to Doha, James?
Never.
It is an amazing place. The skyline of Doha with all the skyscrapers kind of looks like sort of a cross between Shanghai and Hong Kong,
Mhm.
except it was all built in the last 10 years. And it's, it's a spectacle. And into this spectacle, the beast, Donald Trump's presidential vehicle in the middle of a motorcade, which was led by two red trucks. Elon Musk would have loved it.
Yeah, and when he does get down to business, Donald Trump, he's been stacking up the dollar signs in Qatar, hasn't he? 1.2 trillion and counting.
Yeah, huge numbers once again, made up from a bunch of different deals that were signed on Wednesday morning. The biggest was between Qatar Airways and Boeing, which will see the Qatari state carrier buy 210 jets worth around $96 billion. Not a bad day
Yeah.
for Boeing and, of course, the American workers there. The thing is, James, it is quite hard to know how many of these deals were already in the pipeline. It's
Mhm.
natural and politically savvy to bucket deals together and present them as one when leaders get together. But economists are skeptical whether the real investment will, in fact, match the promise. Let's see. There were also defense, intelligence, infrastructure deals. Defense pacts with Qatar are particularly important. This tiny, tiny state has a major US airbase, and it's also designated what's known as a major non-NATO ally.
Mhm.
Joe Biden, in fact, gave it that status back in 2022. So it has a very, very close military alliance with NATO and
Yeah.
with the United States. But all of this investment wrapped up together is for Donald Trump all about making America great again, putting America first. But I'm seeing from reading the news back where you are, James, that plenty of people there think it's more Trump first than America first.
Yeah, it won't surprise you, Mark. Reaction back here is split right down the middle. Supporters of Trump say that, this is a pioneering president changing the face of the Middle East for the better. Fresh eye, fresh approach to politics there, and he's making money and creating jobs for the US in the process. Opponents, they say that he's showing himself to be a president for sale, one who is normalizing corruption in corrupt countries.
And interestingly, his message yesterday when he was in Saudi Arabia, which has, if not a problem with corruption, it certainly has a problem with human rights. He
Yeah.
was at pains to say to the Saudis, don't let other countries tell you how to run your own country. Why did he say that? Because he doesn't want anyone else telling him how to run America.
Yeah, for now, Trump, he's very much playing the quintessential diplomat, very much as his hosts would want it. The Qatari leader, Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, he compared him to Mohammed bin Salman. Big, handsome lads, apparently.
We always had a very special relationship. And we came from Saudi Arabia, where we have another great man over there that's a friend of yours. And you two guys get along so well and like each other. You sort of remind me a little bit of each other, if you want to know the truth. They're both tall, handsome guys that happen to be very smart. But he's also a very special guy, and it's good to see all the relationships forming in the Middle East.
There you go, Mark. Handsome guys who happen to be very smart. I'm pretty sure he does business with ugly blokes as well. We're chasing the White House for comment on that one.
It's classic Trump, full of praise, even for the marble in the room where he signed the
Mm.
deal.
Take a look at this room. This room is the real deal. That's called white marble. It's very hard to buy. Believe me, I know very well, because you try to buy it, you can't buy it. And you just take a look at what you have here. It's been incredible what you've been able to build as a nation. And we're with you all the way, and you know that.
Yeah, the marble. This is what they call perfecto, he said, translated into Italian for emphasis. But perfecto, that's not necessarily the word he would use for Ahmed al Shara, the Syrian president who he met, called him a young, attractive guy. But this young, attractive guy feeling the love today, clearly, he's known plenty of hate from the US in the past. And over the years, that feeling's been mutual.
For me, it is an image that has come to define this trip so far. It was a meeting that we weren't expecting would happen. We thought that maybe that the Americans would lift sanctions against Syria, but for him actually to sit down with the new Syrian president, well, that was something. It's the first time that an American and a Syrian president have met face to face for 25 years. The last time was back in the year 2000 when Bill Clinton met Bashar al-Assad's father, the first in the dynasty
Yeah.
of Assad's. That was just before he died and handed the dynasty to Bashar. The remarkable nature of this meeting, though, for me, it runs deeper than that, because before al-Shara and his forces overthrew President Assad late last year, before he exchanged his fatigues for a suit, his group, HTS, was aligned to al-Qaeda. Go back to 2003. Iraq was about to be invaded by the United States, and a young al-Shara, he traveled to Iraq to fight the Americans. He ended up in the infamous Abu Ghraib military jail. The whole of this spectacle of seeing these two men shake hands, it's an indication of what seems uncharacteristically to be Donald Trump's message on his trip here of cooperation, opportunity, looking forward. This meeting had all that. I'm still trying to decipher, James, on this trip what the American president is up to, because at face value, we're getting what seems to be a fresh vision of his foreign policy worldview, and it's very much at odds with Trump the disruptor.
Yeah, it reminds me of that old line about keep your friends close and keep your enemies closer. There's a reason that he once fought the Americans. Sure, right now we're at this pivotal moment of change in Syria. I think Trump's challenge is to ensure that his motivations, Al Shara, for being anti-American, that they remain in reverse, and that Trump proceeds with him, all the while preserving U.S. interests. That is the key part of the challenge for him.
Yeah, but here's the confusion. Go back to the point at which Assad was overthrown and the new guy came in. And what was Donald Trump's messaging back then? It was Syria's a faraway land. It's got nothing to do with us. We're not getting involved there. And then everyone came out with your precise point. They were saying you need to be involved, because if you're not, then it will become a failed state, and then it will be an even bigger problem. So over the space of 6 months or so, he's done a complete 180 from Syria's not our problem to hugging the new Syrian president. It's very, very hard to work out what Donald Trump's game is here, and you could apply that to so much of Trump world.
And of course, Gaza, a case in point, and that's been on the agenda today, Mark. Yeah.
Yeah, sort of. Although I have found over the past couple of days that it kind of also seems to be the elephant in every gilded room that the president has set foot in. His visit specifically to Qatar could prove very important in any movement on a ceasefire, because, of course, Qatar has been the key intermediary. Hamas's political leadership is based here in this city. The hostage negotiations have been driven by the Qataris. They talk to both sides. They're really important. They're also, for some, controversial, because they do host Hamas, but they've also got a lot of dosh. And they also can strike deals, diplomatic deals. And that's why Donald Trump likes them. And his envoy in chief, that Swiss Army knife, Steve Witkoff, he is here in Doha. He's been here today. He was hugging the emir at one point this afternoon. He has gone from the palace to a room in a hotel somewhere here in Doha, where he is talking to officials from Hamas, we believe. They're trying to return to the ceasefire deal that was struck in January. The Israelis, they are here too, but alongside having negotiators here, they have also said that they will re-enter Gaza with ground forces, that they will conquer it and that they will occupy it, and that they will do that in 2 days as soon as Donald Trump has left the Middle East. That is the deadline. We face the prospect, James, at the end of this week of two massive moments: a new Gaza invasion and a Putin snub to Zelenskyy at that meeting in Turkey. Grim and hopeful expectation all at once. Trump's prize at the start of the week, the very best scenario, was 2 ceasefires in Gaza and in Ukraine. It's not looking like that at all as this week. Well, where are we? Midweek now.
We can't leave our chat about Qatar, can we, Mark, without talking about the Qatari jet on offer to Donald Trump. Have you heard some of the puns that are being used on this very puntastic story?
No, go on.
Democrats, well, I tell you, Democrat opponents are falling over themselves to come up to the plate. Bribe Force One, Qatar Alago. I heard one politician saying it would be like a mobile Radio Shack, he said, because it would come with so many listening devices.
I mean, is anyone doing anything about it? Because, surely it breaks all rules when it comes to, what you're allowed to accept. So are the Democrats actually doing anything about it?
Yeah, well, they're certainly banging on about it and the legalities of it, not to mention the ethics. The Constitution would appear to rule out the acceptance of such a gift, and a gift
Right.
this size would have to go past Congress. So that's your legalities. But as we as we both know, we've been covering court cases aplenty about legalities, the rule of law, where that stands with regard to far more important stuff actually than a $400 million jet. But NBC reporting today, interestingly, Courtney Cubie, that even if this jet is handed over as a gift, it would take at least a couple of years and more than $1 billion to make it president ready, because it would have to be literally stripped back to the bolts for security checks. And then, of course, building the missile defense
Yeah.
systems, the protections for a president who would be traveling with the nuclear codes in their hand luggage. Don't forget that.
It does beg the question why he's banging on about it, because even his own side don't seem to think it's a good idea. You know, Laura Loomer and others saying quite clearly that they think it's a bad idea. So why is he doubling down? Why is he? I mean, he was posting James at 2 a.m. Riyadh time this morning about the plane. But you know, the conflicts of interest, James, they go beyond the palace in the sky because Trump is building a golf course here in Qatar. He wants to build a Trump Tower here in Qatar. He has other business interests in Qatar. Steve Witkoff, the Qataris bought a hotel off him in New York. Susie Wiles used to work for a Qatari firm. So there are lots of links that those critics of Donald Trump are seizing on to cry corruption. But Caroline Leavitt, his press secretary, gets really angry when anyone mentions any suggestion of a conflict of interest, even though, let's just take the plane on its own, plainly, no pun intended, it is a conflict of interest.
Yeah, that story's going to fly, isn't it? Pun absolutely intended. But listen, speaking of being royally entertained and gifts and all the rest of it, Mark, I believe there's a state dinner which has just finished. I'm just looking at the menu from the media pool.
Oh, yeah?
Roasted camel served at the palace. Unclear if the president was served any. Did you get your invitation and did you eat camel?
I think my invitation got lost, like my lanyard got lost yesterday. And no, I didn't. I have eaten camel, but I didn't eat camel. I didn't eat camel today.
Is it tasty? Never touched it.
Bit tough.
I would never have guessed. I think I'd rather have the mobile McDonald's, frankly. That's it for today. But as always, we'd love to hear from you. The email is trump100@sky.uk.
And remember, you can follow the podcast for free wherever you're listening, and you can watch us as well. Just search Trump 100 on YouTube or head to the Sky News app.
But for now, we'll see you tomorrow for another day of Trump 100. Bye-bye.
See you then.